Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft Season 6 with me, FalseSymmetry, and today, guys, we're gonna finish this thing off, the exterior, completely in today's episode, plus try and work on some other things, whether or not that means just derping around, getting some other things done, whether or not it means filling those gaps in that someone left. Should those be there? Actually, wait a second, this might be Rendog's project. I feel like those are his, so that might be... I don't know. I'll check with him later. He's actually online right now. Anyway, yeah, so I want to finish this thing off. I've actually been derping around trying to finish these bits off, and I've got them mostly done. All the windows are in and stuff like that. It's just the tower now that needs to go in, and then, of course, we'll leave it an episode or two, but we do need to also think about this. This being the gigantic interior of Doom, because oh my goodness, this is terrifying. I have no plans for the interior at all, so it's going to be a difficult one to think about how to build it, but I'm going to, I think, go with some sort of classic, you know, cathedral interior, have like an altar, have like the pews, have, you know, those little bits, try and add some rooms perhaps in somewhere in it as well, because generally, if these are built, they're usually built too small to add rooms, but this one's pretty huge, so I think we can probably add, you know, some rooms in there. Anyway, it's getting night time, let me have a nap, and let's get resources together and start building this thing. Build needs now is a roof, and of course you can tell what kind of roof it's going to get. It's just going to get a simple sort of A-frame roof, sort of like this a little bit, and it's obviously going to go like that. But I have added an extra triangle here in which I'm going to probably try and add another roof, and of course I forgot every single red block. There we go. Let's see if we can land up there real quick. Oh, perfect. Nice. That was really good landing, actually. Yeah, so I'm thinking we want to do something here as well, which of course is going to have to probably drop down to like here. Obviously be 3 wide there, or 3 long. 2 there, and actually no, 1 there. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Yeah, like that, I think. So we're going to go with this, and then hope that that will look okay. If this looks okay, then we'll of course build it outwards, and I want to make it sort of match that lower sort of roof there above the doorway. But yeah, I think that is gonna work. So yeah, I guess this is the final touch. That, and then obviously a window and stuff there, and perhaps in the sides as well. We'll see what they look like before we decide anything. But yeah, really liking this project, and it's finally feeling like it's actually going to get finished. Just I'm ignoring the interior right now because that's going to take forever. But yeah, love this roof. And of course, as I'm literally going up and down here, there's a sign. I didn't expect that. I literally was on that block going, what's that there? And then I looked over and I'm like, oh, it's a sign. Thanks, Cub. Sort of in the way though. But thanks for that. That was very unexpected. Literally as I'm just building this thing like this, a sign was the last thing I thought I was going to see. Fair enough. Okay, well, thanks, man. I guess I'm glad that you like the the cathedral so far. And hopefully it's going to look better by the end of this episode. That's what I'm hoping. And this bit doesn't improve my goal. Oh, okay. Thanks, Cub. I mean, the first one was pretty unexpected. The second one, even more so, probably. Thanks, man. I think he was lurking around when I was building this earlier, getting the walls done before I started recording this episode. Just chilling in like an ender dragon head. I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I decided to just ignore him and see what he did. And he literally just, well, I assumed he did nothing, but now that I can see signs everywhere, I'm not so sure he did nothing. But Just hoping he hasn't placed loads of slides just everywhere, because there's no way I'll be able to find them on this this build being so big. Well, this place is looking more and more Gothic as we get on. Look at this! That's exactly the word I want, Gothic. Not sure if that's medieval. I guess it sort of is, right? Gothic medieval. That's what we've gone with. The people were saying it's too fancy. I think it's gone more... It's gone less fancy than I thought it would, and it's gone more Gothic. But I like that. I dig that. I think it's not a bad fit for this area at all. Yeah, I think it works. I mean, we do need some details going on here, and I do need to, of course, curve the roof, because right now the roof's just looking like any old boring house roof, just other than these bits. These bits are really cool, man. I'm so glad it worked out that really cool shape there. But of course, yeah, I'm going to need to make some shape in it. So I think what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to mention to you guys how I do this usually. So what I'm going to do is count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after the 5th one, I'm going to start digging. And then we're going to count 5 from the other side as well. And then basically we're going to drop it down in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is where it dropped down. And then, of course, we get rid of this layer. And then if it's got sort of these long lines of stone brick, then I'll just chuck a stair either side. And then in between, I'll just chuck a whole bunch of these slabs. There we go. And then from far away... Yeah, it'll look much more like a curved roof as you then go down and continue to add more and more of those. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to choose where to put a couple of lines in like this as well, of slabs, and then hopefully it'll look exactly how I want it to do to be. And then, yeah, and then we're going to have to do the windows, because right now it's a bit plain and boring. Well, I think I've done as much as I can today. I've done a little bit of work on the windows and the front there, and this stuff, and just finished off the roof completely. It's now curved like it should be. Yeah, it's definitely looking more Gothic than anything, which is not bad. I sort of do wish a little bit that I'd made sort of a stone cathedral, but then I sort of look at these and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it would have looked too much like the industrial district. I don't know. Right now, we're still in 1.13. I know 1.14 is probably out by the time this video comes out, but yeah, even I think stone slabs and stairs wouldn't necessarily have helped us make a proper stone cathedral. I think this works. It sort of bridges the gap between the cottages and this. But again, doesn't necessarily have to be a cathedral. It could be a town hall. It could be whatever we want it to be. But I think cathedral is probably most appropriate for this, because I don't know, it just reminds me of a cathedral. I don't really know, man. Cathedrals do, if you look up sort of old cathedrals, some of them do have like sort of red roofs and things like that, and stuff. So yeah, I do think it's accurate to the style I'm looking at. But of course, when you think of cathedral, you do generally think of like a big stone structure, more so than wood and mushroom blocks and everything else. I could see the drone out there. I was like, what's going on? Okay, it's like having a fly on your screen. You're like, what is that little dot in the distance? Oh yeah, it's a drone. But yeah, so in here is of course, well, it's sort of like a flying range at the moment. You can fly around in here and probably kill yourself. But yeah, there's plenty of room. So I do need to, of course, think about what's going on here at some point. I do think I want to probably grab sort of these areas here, and then, I was going to say line them up with that and have some sort of like pillar. But yeah, we could definitely have pillars. So pillar there, pillar here, and then perhaps some more on the other side, and sort of have some sort of, I was going to say the pew or the corridor down the middle of the chairs would have gone this way, but I guess it would have to be that way actually, yeah, because obviously the doors are this way. And then, of course, this would be where the altar would be down there, and then there'd be chairs either side, and then back here, perhaps we could make that into like a little room, and then this area could be closed off into rooms. I don't really know my plan yet. I will, of course, at some point probably think about it a whole bunch, but today is not that day, and of course we have the tower as well, so don't even know how we're meant to be going to get up here. That's my problem. That's so tall, and it's so central to the design that, like, how on earth do I... It's so dark, I can't quite see. Oh, you know what? It is... We have got this triangle roof. So actually, we could get, like... If this is the area that's going to be blocked off, we could have, like, something going up here. And then going along inside that triangle roof into that building. Yeah, or into that section of the structure. Yeah, we could definitely make this work. I think... Yeah, I think it's just, you know... I'm probably not going to work on the interior for a couple of episodes. Anyway, so I think we've done all I can right now. I've also done a bit of work on the terrain. I've blocked up this area along here, made it sort of go with this, because if you remember there was a big just gap under here. Same at the back as well. Got rid of a whole bunch of trees. Tried lowering this a little bit, this hill, just that it wasn't as intense next to the church. And we've left that big tree there because it looked quite nice. I don't know what kind of trees we want in this area. Thrifty the sheep who fisticuffed to his death. Fisticuffed to his death. I'm not sure what that means. He punched someone to his own death? I'm very confused. What does that mean? I didn't realise that was there. That was obviously in between the trees that I then got rid of. I don't really know. Anyway, don't know what else to work on in this area at the moment. I could have worked on a bit of a wall design, perhaps, which of course is going to go around this, or at least that's my idea for the area. But I don't quite know. I also don't know if that's meant to be a shop or if that's meant to be... I think that's meant to be a shop. Yeah, because this would be the wall. And then I don't know what these things are. I think this was the original border, perhaps, this cobblestone of the shopping district. But I actually could be completely wrong. Or maybe it's the pathway. I don't know. There are markers everywhere in this district. You never know what is what. Anyway, let me figure out what I can do next to finish up this episode. Or at least continue the episode, and yeah, we'll get on with some more stuff. So I was walking around trying to figure out what to actually do, and I was thinking about planning some stuff to do in this area, like blocking off areas for like a market, blocking off areas, and like from an area point of view, we would be able to look down and say, okay, that's a project to work on, that's a project to work on, you know, and actually just sort out what the area could look like. And then I found two things that confused me. One, I guess this goes down to the bottom of that, right? It's completely blocked in though. Can I see inside this? No. Can I? Oh, dude! This must have been added like super early. There's a cactus farm down here. I'm not sure why someone dug out such a large area for it. That's like a whole chunk or more. But yeah, I was like, dude, there's an actual cactus farm here that's just like completely filled up. Dudes, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, cool. Well, I don't need any green, I don't think. But if I did, I know where to go. Man, I literally was walking around there going, there's no entrance. And then, of course, there is like just a chest at one side. But yeah, I was just wandering through here, thinking about what we could do here. This, of course, is World's Night Starter House. He's left it unlocked. That's pretty bad. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff, an area for us to use. And of course, I think this here is the border for the industrial. So we've got all of this space that we could potentially use. I do think I want to sort of get rid of this lump here and maybe add the market over this side. But of course, if it's quite lumpy, that's not going to work. And also, I like the idea that from here, this angle, that looks like it's up on like a bit of a hill. So maybe if we lowered this down, we could probably add a potential market area. So yeah, let me do some planning, actually. I'm feeling excited about this project enough to do some planning. So yeah, let's get on with that and see what we can come up with. So whilst we have the time-lapse going, I thought I'd answer a couple questions from you guys that I left on my community tab on YouTube. I'm going to try and use that community tab a little bit more for polls and images and little behind-the-scenes things. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And let's get into the first question. The first one is from Joshua, which says, will you guys ever clean up the withers that you guys spawned? For those who don't know, we spawned in 100 withers. Let's just say it didn't go to plan. It lagged the server out a whole bunch. There's an episode that I'll link somewhere. And basically, the idea is that if anyone feels like it, they can go kill some, but the area is so laggy that really, honestly, I feel like no one's going to kill them. So, I don't know, when the world's up for download, feel free to go over there and try and take them on, but it might lag your game out. Another question is from Shade Grey, which says, if Hermitcraft wasn't a thing, what would I see myself doing in its place? I don't know whether or not that means on YouTube. I would probably still be doing Minecraft. I would probably actually be involved in probably another Minecraft server of some sort, because that seems to be the thing that I always gravitate towards in Minecraft, is multiplayer servers. Always been a part of one, and of course right now it's Hermitcraft. If I wasn't doing Minecraft and YouTube and Twitch and things like that, then I'd probably be doing graphic design, as that is what my degree is in. Another question from JJZZ2. What is an Easter egg on the map? Now, originally I didn't have an answer to this question, and then I thought about an area that actually I don't think anyone knows existed, because I didn't until recently. With my camera account, I went underneath my base a little bit, right where I hid the green heads, and basically I found out that I'd actually left like 10 or so in a separate cave that was sort of nearby for the green head hunt, so I guess that's a bit of an Easter egg. Feel free to go find that when the map's up for download. But yeah, there's like 10 or so green heads that were not counted towards my final score, and they're just still chilling there, so I'll probably just leave them there forever. And one last question from VR Addict Videos, which says, what does your family think of your job? I think overall they're pretty open to it and pretty okay with it. At the start, I think when I introduced it to my mum especially, she wasn't 100% sure, but it was the day, I actually remember the day, it was the day that I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, which for a lot of people would probably think that was pretty late to tell that your family that you are doing YouTube, even as a hobby. I don't think they knew before then, so I was sort of just doing it on a whim, just as a hobby, which I still very much count it as a hobby. But yeah, I think that at the beginning, I mean, they always knew that I was going to go into a creative job. I think the fact, more so than anything, the fact that it's such a sort of lonely job in terms of it's just me, myself, and I working day to day on videos is the biggest problem, which I see that as well with a job like this. But at the same time, you know, I'm able to talk to people online that do the same thing as me, as well as chat with you guys, especially on Twitch and stuff. It's really nice to keep sort of this open dialogue going. So yeah, I think it's definitely become easier, and they're now pretty accepting of what I do since I've been doing it for so long. But yeah, definitely wasn't something from the very beginning that they were like, oh yeah, that's completely fine. They were obviously a little bit concerned, a little bit like, is this gonna work? And I mean, to be honest, I can't blame them. I was exactly the same. I was like, is this gonna work? Can I make this work? And for some reason, somehow, I have been able to make it work. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments and maybe I'll get to them in another video. Well, the area has been dug out. If I can get in the air, there we go. And I've also done a little bit extra. So I not only flattened this mountain that was here, I actually flattened and got rid of completely the land that was here. I was going to originally make it into a swamp, but I was like, you know what, it'd be quite nice to keep this little area open here. So if we do have like a market, we can also have like sort of a pier, sort of docking area where little tiny ships where people would come to sell stuff at the market could come, and they could go out that way towards the sea, sort of thing, past the base, the starting base over there. And I thought that might be quite a nice little idea there, so that's why I've done that. I've also left my beacon here just in case I ever need it. Of course, it probably could reach a little bit into the cathedral, but maybe not completely, to maybe actually be of use. But anyway, I'll leave it there for now, because I, of course, in the time-lapse had to make 2 of them by mistake, because I didn't realise I was going to start work on that. But yeah, that looks much better. I feel like it just looked a bit odd being there, and it sort of makes a bit more of a sort of cool shape, plus sort of gets more of a border going on between these two, because it technically was it either part of that district or this district. War district or this district, I don't really know. Now my plan of action is to, I guess, sort of mark out the corners of sort of where things should go. So I think what I'm going to do is probably stick the market around here somewhere. So sort of let's just sort of get some corners going and just chuck the market like here somewhere. Of course there's going to be like maybe a house or something extra around here, because obviously one cottage World's Nights one would look a bit weird on its own, but yeah, I think this area here could be a really good spot for a marketplace. So let's sort of continue that there and make sort of some markers for some future projects. So now I'm just sort of walking around the district, sort of making sort of little areas where it's sort of like a mental note for me of like, oh, I could add something here if I feel like it, because I'm probably going to try and work on stream a little bit more with builds. So I think what I want to do is definitely have some possible projects to work on. So for example here, it'd be really cool to have like another house, so that this one isn't so lonely on its own. We might even have like a little shed or something like here perhaps. So yeah, I don't know if you guys do this as well. Do you guys like do this at all, where you sort of make yourself like a mental note in the game by going, okay, this is the area for this, and then whenever you want to like reach into your sort of ideas and pick out something, you know, you can just fly around the area and go, okay, yeah, remember I put those little markers down there. Of course, someone else can totally build in these areas before me. That's completely fine. In fact, I'd much rather that. But yeah, I definitely want to sort of start building some areas. So what I've done is I've marked off the big area that is the cathedral and some spaces around it, so that at least people hopefully will see those and go, okay, that's the area the False is working in. I'm not going to build anything right there because I want to build like a bit of a courtyard, bit of a sort of area around it, maybe even some sort of graveyard. In fact, I might even save this bit over here for a graveyard. It's a nice little space here actually. Yeah, that's going to be a good idea. Let's do that in fact. So let's plop some sort of, let's use the andesite like we have been using. Let's go like here. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Apologies, that was a bit of a shorter one, and apologies because of the little Q&A and time lapses and stuff. I don't know. I quite like that. I don't know if I'd like it in a whole episode. Let me know what you think. Perhaps when I do go on trips, what we could do is do one of my pre-recorded episodes as like a time lapse of whatever I need to get done at that point. So for example, this is something I needed to get done. I could time lapse whatever it is and just have the whole episode as like a super long time lapse of just questions and answers, and that was really handy as well because I basically couldn't record my audio for this episode when I actually wanted to and stuff, and I would have got a lot more done, but basically there's been some sort of like work in my house at least for yesterday, so I couldn't I literally couldn't record audio because literally the room below me right here at home literally was just it was just constant noise the whole day, so I could record the audio I wanted to. So I thought, you know what, time lapse Q&A would work. So that is why Q&As are always really handy. Anyway, guys, the sun is going down yet again. Always constantly seeing the sun going down from over here, dudes. I think because when it's open, I can just see the sun where it goes down, and not so much that way, and obviously because everything just takes so long with this project. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think of the cathedral project so far, suggestions for the interior down below, and I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. See ya!
When Stanley approached the end of the video, he clicked the subscribe button.